Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Naya Depths. And this is pretty much the list that I took to Eternal Masters last weekend. This is pretty similar to most lists you'll see. The main difference is that I'm only running 2 copies of Dark Depths because I wanted to find room for the 5th fetch in Wooded Foothills. I find a lot of the matches that I lose are either because I don't have access to red mana early on for blast effects post-board. I don't feel I lose a lot of matches not having access to Dark Depths, so I feel like 2 copies is more than enough. We have multiple ways to find them. We have ways to get them back from the graveyard in Endurance and Ramanap Excavator, which is really nice. And the added fetch land is also quite nice for Elvish Reclaimer, of course. Multiple Dark Depths in hand can be a little bit awkward. Yavimaya does make it a little less awkward. And it also does take away the chances of having those hands where you can go Yav into land and have 2 crops for the combo. Or you could do something like, naturally comboing off on turn 3 with Yavimaya, Stage, and Dark Depths. That's obviously going to go lower in percentage points if you're cutting on Dark Depths, but I think it's the weakest land in the deck. I'm sure there's some argument for that, but I think if anything to do with the combo, Deathspin Stage is just far superior because it can come copies of other things. But yeah, otherwise, pretty stock list. I always think about the kind of banned or 4-color control matchups, and if I want some sort of finisher for those, either in Paradox Zone or a Planeswalker. But because I can't find them with things like Green Suns, and library tends to be shut off by things like Prismatic Ending, Teferi Bounce, Narset, it's really hard to see those. So I think just focusing on some of the other matchups where I can hedge a little bit more with cards like Pyroblast and having extra copies of those is quite nice because they obviously come across to those control matches. So this should be pretty fun. Hey Tough Duke, welcome. Glad to have you here. But yeah, let's just play some Magic. Let's just play some... I say fair Magic, but we could have a discussion about how a combo deck is always going to be a combo deck, no matter how fair one half of it may be. I do also play 61, which I know is a big debate within the Magic community, but my reasoning is that the 61st card for me is Maze of Ith, and the Maze of Ith and access to the Maze of Ith, especially game 1, is going to win me a ton more games than the variance of an additional card in the board, or in the deck, sorry. And with a deck with so many tutors in Crop Rotation, Green Sun Zenith, Elvish Reclaimer, Knight of the Reliquary, I think it's fine to have 61. I'm more than happy to take away that percentage point of having the 61st card in there for the chance to have Maze of Ith in the deck as a target. Maze really nice because I was playing around with Blast Zone because it deals with a lot of Delver's threats quite nicely. It is a great board wipe against things like Enchantress or Elves, or can come up against Death and Taxes, but I find that Maze also hitting Murktide is exactly where I want to be, so... Speaking of Maze... This is an interesting one. It's a 2-lander, 1.5 lander. That could be great, but it could also be just a pretty dead hand against something like combo. So I'm gonna quickly see. Duck, duck, mongoose. Aha, okay, well they play Naya Depths as well. And I think this hand is actually pretty nice against Naya Depths. It kind of relies on this Maze of Ith, but we can turn the Wooded Foothills into a Yav off the crop, and then allow us to tap 2 mana to start using Reclaimer to find flagstones. We also have 2 swords in hand, which we can't tutor for, which is a pretty huge pull. But pretty tough. A pet land. I'll have a think, and I'll get back to that question when I board. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna see how it goes. A little bit risky, but what I probably don't want to see is like a turn 1 Mox into Sylvan Library. It's probably the best start that my opponent could have here. Hey, Master. Oh, they're playing City of Traders? Okay, I didn't expect that. Yeah, okay. Well, that turns off these 3, which is pretty tough. There is a world where playing the Dark Depths is incorrect, because if they just have stage, they could potentially float 2, play stage, if they are a stage deck, and then just copy the Dark Depths to make it 2020. There's no real point of untapping the Reclaimer there because we only have access to 1 mana, but my opponent may think we are a deck with something like Spirit Guard effects. But a Blood Moon effect here would be brutal. Okay. Best land off the top by far is just going to be Yavimaya. As it allows us to play this knight next turn. But Fury is pretty brutal here. Well, I'm still going to play this, because our outs to like a Blood Moon effect are pretty tight. We would have to draw into Forest and then Green Suns for Night of Autumn. Yeah, a really nice start here for my opponent. Like turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Fable and Fury, deal with my threat, and then turn 3 Rabble Master. I will actually take off. I could have, I can still maze a creature here, nice. Hey, Red the Reckless. Hey, JRE, welcome. Okay. Okay. Well, getting closer. A land off the top does it. Just have to fade Blood Moon once more. But it's going to be tight. Might just be too strong too early on. The Chalice is really strong here. Kind of made it a mulligan to 4. So we untap the biggest creature. And I think we might even just be dead next turn, even if we draw a card. We'll see. Okay. So we get a blocker, and we have maze. So it's definitely tight. Because we can maze this, and then if they copy it, we can block one. Hey, Mark. Very cool to see you. Legacy players don't bother with combat math. Ramar, you can't say that. You can't say that. You're an Elves player. A very good Elves player, mind you. Alright. So, create a token. It might just be too much, because we block here, we maze this, we take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Unfortunate. But we can go through the motions. So we can untap the 11. We can block the 11. And then we take, yeah, too much. Tough. So mono red. Mono red, I like the forces. I'm not a big fan of the libraries. They're just really good at being aggressive, and the damage can line up. There is a world where we take out 2 library for 2 force and keep 1 library. Quick look. I haven't done prison yet, that's right. Actually, I think I did prison, but I didn't add it into the side. Yeah, it's over here somewhere. Yeah, Safety Keeper's not the best, but it does allow us to just get a win out of nowhere by sacking land and attacking with a big knight. Oof, I don't mind the oof. But there's a lot of worlds where they don't have a Chrome Mock start. Like, Endurance as a body isn't the worst. There's a lot of cards that aren't great, like Bajuka Bog doesn't do anything. Chasm's definitely interesting, but with Blood Moon and Magus, it probably isn't going to have a real effect. It's really a case of trying to cheese a win, where we can play a moon under a Blood Moon and then remove that moon effect. I don't mind the Endurance. Yeah, it could be a case of just keeping 2 libraries. Going down on Safekeeper. I do like Ramanap in the Den versions, because Wasteland is obviously pretty nice. Death Silence no, Blast Effects no, Safekeeper, Collect Oof. Yeah. I think these 3 are fine. The Force of Vigor is the big one. Having Force for the Chalice is pretty huge. Okay. Now this is a tough one, because we do just have the natural combo, but we don't have any outs till Blood Moon effect. We do have the crop to potentially crop into a forest, but it's tough, because if our land drops are 1, 2, 3, and they play a Blood Moon effect, we have to crop into a forest, which takes us off one of these pieces. If I don't want to lose one of these pieces to crop, I have to slow down a turn by playing one of these. I think sadly this is just too slow. I mean, I think worst case is probably turn 1 Moon. Turn 1 Chalice isn't too bad because we have the combo already. Turn 1 Trinisphere isn't too bad because, again, we can just play the combo, but turn 1 Moon is bad. And if they play turn 1 Moon, we probably just play Yav and then crop in response for Forest. And then we're left with a pretty dead hand. We have 1 green source for the Endurance, and nothing else. I think there's a better 6. I don't think we can just rely on, you know, a turn 4 win with the combo here. Well, this is pretty good. I gotta drop 1, but it is still the combo, which is nice. It does have the Moxen, which gives us an out to the Blood Moon, which is pretty cool. Like, there's a world where we just go stage pass, and then untap, and then we have Mox Pitch, play Dark Depths, and then we have a turn 3 win. But then we'd have to drop bottom the Swords to Plowshares, which is tough. I think we have a better chance of holding the Swords in case they play Magus or turn 1 Rabblemaster. Probably dropping the Step here. And then hoping to draw into a land to still do the same thing next turn. Because Swords might just be the way for us not to lose the game straight up. And if they do play a turn 1 Magus, we can then play a turn 2 Dark Depths under Magus. It comes in as a mountain with no counters on it. We can then Swords the Magus, which then triggers the Dark Depths. So keep this bottom the step. Opponent went to 6 as well. I think for the sake of being able to combo turn 2, I am just going to play the stage here. Because if we play the Dark Depths first, it doesn't give us the win if they just play a Magus turn 1. There is a thought to playing Amox here to hold up Sword. That does stop a damage coming through from something like a Rabblemaster. I don't think there's any downside to playing the Moxen here. Wow, Den Pass. Okay. Green Suns. Okay. I think here I'll just like reclaim a go. I could also hold this so that if they go turn 2 Blood Moon, which I think is a little bit defensive, I assume they have a turn 2 attacker. We could keep the Green Suns for Night of Autumn, play the Depths, find a land for the Mox, play the Mox, Green Suns for Night of Autumn, destroy the Blood Moon, and then trigger the Dark Depths. Actually, Arb is pretty nice as well, that's very true. Arbor does give us the mana for the following turn as well. A lot of small things to consider, like when do I drink my coffee? Wow, a really slow start from them. It's not what I want. Hey Matt, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, no brainstorms in this league, thankfully. This is tough as well, because they can't really tap out either. They have to have boom bust. What are the chances of them having boom bust? There's nothing I can really do to play around that anyway, so... Alright, they had it. There's also a thought here of not playing the Mox Diamond because of Fiery Confluence. And there's no real need right now to play a land because of the Moxen, so I'm pretty happy just to pass. Hey, Dark Poet. Dead Gone. What did I say? I must have said something else. It's pretty good. Ah, Boom Burst? My apologies. Yav. Again, I'm just going to pass back. Card got errated out of being played, yeah. I remember with Goblin Dark Dwellers, it was very good. Pretty happy to take them off the den there. Okay. After your draw step. I think I'm going to wait on that. So let's go... I don't want to play the Yav because I don't want them to be able to tap this without losing mana, without losing life. So I think we'll go Mox, pitch the Yav, play Sav, pass. But I think this telegraphs Force of Vigor pretty hard. This is a situation where I wouldn't mind like Green Suns for Rabble either, or for Ramanap. I do just want to take out this as just a 1-for-1. Because next turn they most likely play Rabble and then try to copy it. And I just want to use my mana pretty effectively. Not great. Yep. Tough. Really needed like a creature to back up that Dark Depths. Even a 3/4 Reclaimer would have been nice on this board. But yeah, with 5 cards in hand, I assume my opponent has a lot of gas. Okay. That's a start. They have 6 cards and all the mana in the world, but aren't casting anything. Yeah, it could definitely be Fury. Shadow Skull. Okay. This Goblin's done a lot of work. Another Fable. Happy to play the Yav now because we're not in a position to just kind of win through combat damage. Yeah. Tough. Definitely one of those games where it just didn't really line up. But yeah, the new versions with the enchantment are very good. And Fury is obviously a really nice way to deal with big creatures. Whereas before Fury, it was pretty tough for them to deal with an X4. Usually things like a Braid you might have seen out of the board, or Bone Crusher Giant dealing 2. And it would have taken a lot of time to, I guess in our draws we didn't have any protection, so not going for the Dark Depths there would have meant we would have just drawn pretty much dead for 6 turns. It's tough because if you draw we drew like the Force of Vigor half of our deck, and we didn't really want it. We wanted the Swords to Plowshares Prismatic Ending side of our deck. But Moon's usually a pretty back and forth matchup, which is cool. But yeah, Naya overall has felt really strong. Definitely an interesting hand, but it has a pretty weird collapse. Hey Haps. Yeah, GG's. Very cool to see the deck, like, it's always nice to just see a deck perform as well as it can. Like the game 1 was really strong. Like turn 1, Chalice into like Threat, Fury My Threat, untap, Rabble Master, and just like go is exactly what I want to be doing. I haven't tried out the Mono Black Depths deck, but it does look really fun. I am gonna mulligan this. It's just a bit like, has things but doesn't really have a plan. I'd rather mulligan to like an Elvish Acclaimer start, especially on the play. This is a bit better because we have Stage and Crop, so I'm gonna bottom a Stage here. We don't have a green source at the moment, so let's go Flagstones, Mox to hold up Crop, pitching the Plateau. And then we actually just have a turn 2 if we want. We can crop away the Flagstones for a Savannah and a Dark Depths. And then we just get to untap and crop. But I really hope this is Elves, because Elves has a pretty mattery shaper. Interesting. Endless one. Okay. So, Eldrazi is typically a 4 Wasteland deck, and sometimes plays a Karakas. I kind of just want to crop here. And probably just play the Knight. Crop away flag. Hey, thanks, JR. Same to you. Hope you have a nice weekend ahead planned. Alright, so let's go and get a Savannah. And then I might actually just get a Wasteland here. I think that's actually pretty strong. Wasteland the Eye. And then we can still play Knight as a 5/5, which is pretty brutal. But if we draw a fetch land, we don't. But we do draw Crop. Does that change things? No, because we can't. We don't have 3 colored mana, so we can't play Knight and hold up Crop here. I do have the option here, though, of passing with Crop and mana up for Dark Depths, or play Knight, Wasteland them. I would assume the only outs my opponent has to that main deck is like a Dismember, potentially, which would kill the Knight. It would be a 5/5. And if my opponent next turn taps out for a, like, Soul Land into Thought Knot, we can just crop in response, and then we have the win. I'm pretty happy to... I think holding up crop here is more than fine. I guess they could play Wasteland and then just attack and then cast another free spell with the Eye of Ugin. Eldrazi aggro, I believe, usually has one Caracas, which isn't easy to find. You can really only find it off the Once Upon a Time. And I assume the deck is probably playing Elvish Spirit Guide over Simian Spirit Guide, so you can actually also cast Once Upon a Times after the fact. Might also be playing Yavimaya instead of Urborg. Interesting. See, if I make the token there and block and they have Caracas, I lose. What do you got? Oh, they do have the Wasteland. Oh, but they tap out. No. Oh, but they tap out like this? Tough. Tough. Alright, Eldrazi. I do like the Force of Vigors. Artifacts, not colorless. That's probably it. We can take out the Bog. We can take out... I don't mind taking out one library, just because of how aggressive they can be. Safekeeper is still nice for Dismember. Not just for giving protection, but also building out our creatures to bigger than X5s. I think that's just the only change. There is a world where Endurance is okay as a 3/4, but I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, Chasm's definitely interesting. The land loss is pretty huge. I think Maze of Ith is quite nice as our main deck Chasm. But I guess we can see how we go turn game 2. And potentially Chasm is correct. Okay. Hey Saito, welcome. Yeah, Chasm's mainly for Elves, Burn, and any Madness deck. I also don't mind it against Dredge. It's also quite good against Show and Tell. Because I actually had a game come up where they had a Wipe Away for Caracas, and instead of getting a Caracas for Grizzlebrain, I got Chasm, and they weren't able to deal with it. I'll keep this. Turn 1 stay, no. It's a turn 3. Yeah. There's better hands, especially with like Source of Plowshares and Wasteland, exactly. Keep this. I think the Moxen I'm just going to drop here, but the Moxen does allow us to turn 1 both like Reclaimer or Swords and Wasteland. It could actually be Reclaimer and hold the Green Suns. I don't mind that. It also just makes our hand a little bit better against Chalice. Because we can just Green Suns for 1, which plays around Chalice for 1. Mimic. Alright. Hey, Jide. Very well, thank you. Double Mox. Interesting. Ratchet Bomb. Ooh, Ratchet Bomb taking out the Mox in here is pretty nice. Does take us off white mana, which is interesting. I thought not. Trigger. Swords this in response. See what we draw. Because if we draw Dark Depths or Yav, it's pretty good. If we draw Yav, we can crop for Dark Depths in response. Wooded Foothills. Okay. I think here I'm pretty happy to crop for Dark Depths. I guess they then take the Moxen, but that's okay. Wow. Interesting. They had 3 cards left. They can take out the Moxen. So there is definitely time, but maybe they just didn't think they had a way out of the Dark Depths over time. Not too sure. Nice to be on the board. Haven't seen Eldrazi in a long time. That's the thing as well about Dark Depths, is that sometimes you can just put something in front of your opponent and make them make a play. The mana here is why I'm not going to keep this hand. The mana here is why I am going to keep this hand. And I'm probably going to bottom the Safekeeper and just keep 4 lands with Reclaimer and Knight. We also have the nice turn 1 Reclaimer into turn 2 Flagstones, which is cool. Just gonna get a Savannah. Tomb. Okay. Oh, here we go. See, Blood Moon's not too bad here because we do have the Reclaimer, which is nice. If they kill the Reclaimer here, I'm just going to go and get a Forest. Because that turns on Green Sun Zenith. They're going to cast a Chalice for 0. That is fine. Stompy all day, yeah. Fable, that's pretty good. Alright. Go and get Forest. I'll throw away the Wasteland. We can also block next turn and then use Reclaimer, which is nice. They discard 1 Rabble. They don't attack. Okay. Let's get rid of this Wasteland. Let's go and get that Plains. And this really shows you the power of Reclaimer in this matchup. I mean, now we're just going to be casting Knights all day. I'm pretty happy to start getting aggressive. Nothing. And only 2 mana. Now this is interesting. I think I'm happy just to bash with the knight. We can also create a 2020. We can also create a 2020, which is nice. Maybe that's just the play. Like, main deck, does Stompy have anything for it? Because we can float a green off the forest, we can sack the forest to Knight, get a Dark Depths, which comes in with no counters, and then use our mana to Green Suns for Knight of Autumn to take out the Blood Moon. Let's have a quick look. Legacy, mono, blue, aggro. Yeah, see, most of them have Dead Gone in the sideboard. Just want to confirm. Dead Gone in the sideboard. 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 None main deck. None main deck. None main deck. None main deck. I could easily beat them down. Yeah, I like beatdown. I don't want to attack with the claim because they can trade. Could have also got an extra damage there because I am going to use the Reclaimer to go and get Depths. Create a copy. Okay. I'm still happy to block here. So I could play around... They really want the treasure. The question is, do I play around Fury? I think I'm happy just to block with the Reclaimer. By blocking with the Reclaimer, they can just deal with... it's whenever it attacks. Okay. I think in that case, I'm happy just to let it slide. I'd rather not lose my creatures to something weird. Hey, Alpha. Yes, there is a Zoo deck. I'll have to find it, but I believe it was Mental Misstep who played it. And it was a little while ago as well. But I believe they played it again recently and did pretty well with it. There was also a build by Matthew Vuk that was pretty much a Naya Goif deck that played pretty low to the ground that looked pretty cool. Crop. Well, that's pretty nice. Alright. We just have lethal. We just have lethal. Because we attack with all. They block a knight. They're taking 9 here, but before damage we can just crop away. this, make this a 7/7, and that'll be lethal. All right, really nice to get game 1. Again, the Force of Vigors I think are fine. A library down, a bog down. Oof's nice because it also turns off those treasures from the 2/2. Safekeeper I will keep in this time because of Dead Gone being there only out to the 2020. It could just be Caracas. Although, is the Kiki Jiki enchantment creature a legendary creature? Can you Caracas that enchantment? I guess I don't really want to be fair. Just allows them to replay it. Yeah, Alpha. I will I'll find it after this match and I'll put it in chat. Might just be a library. I think on the draw as well, usually they go for a pretty aggressive start, so having just the one library is nice. Okay. I don't think this is a keep. It just loses to turn 1 Moon. It also just loses to turn 1 Chalice. This is a fine hand. I'll keep this. We have the Forest as well, which is fantastic. And now I think what I want to do... The Sylvan Library is kind of nice because it allows us to recoup from a mulligan. I probably want to keep the Green Suns as well, just in case we need to force a Vigor. I could see just the Wasteland going down here, but Wastelanding our opponent can also be pretty strong. It could be the Library. I could sing it being the Library. Yeah. Maybe not. I think it's between Reclaimer and Wasteland here. Wasteland not great against the Blood Moon starts. Elvish Reclaimer not great against the Chalice starts. We do have the Force of Vigor though. I guess Wasteland's actually quite good against the Chalice starts because you take out a Soul End straight away. I'm going to put back the Reclaimer. Yeah, especially because Green Suns does also represent Reclaimer. But that's a tough one. I think there's a lot of different options there. City. Chromox. Please be an artifact or enchantment. Magus. The one thing I don't want to see. Okay. Knight. Do I want to ramp? That's the question. Ramping doesn't achieve too much. I think it's just Forest Pass. Okay, this is fine. This is a Saga trigger. I'm just going to respond to the trigger by hitting this and this. Exiling the Knight. We don't have a great way to cast it right now. This is going to be really annoying. Okay. It's definitely not the draw I wanted, but maybe the draw that I deserved. See, this is the awkward spot where library just isn't great. Like, we're taking 4 a turn at least. Wow, they have nothing? Did not expect that. Ooh. Okay. Put on top. Do I want to pay for this? Probably not. I think this turn is just going to be play Dried Arbor and then hold it up to crop away for a Plains. But this does turn on a win if we find removal for the Magus. And if they don't have Dead Gone. So if we do pay 4 here, we go to 10. Worst case then is we lose the Dried Arbor, can't block, go to 6, and then have a fresh look on top. So we play Dried Arbor, we hold up crop rotation, we hopefully block and then crop it away for Plains. We then untap, play a land, we have 4 mana. We either play the Dark Depths and then have a removal spell for the Magus, which we can also Prismatic Ending because we'll have access to green, white, and red. Or we can Green Suns for a 3-drop, most likely in Knight of the Reliquary. Maybe actually Endurance is best as a 3/4. And we already have the Forest and Plains in play, so maybe that's the line. So we would take 4, go to 10, take 2, go to 8. They have a Rabble Master, it's even worse. They didn't have a play last turn, which is really weird. I think our best chances are not paying. It kind of gives us another whole turn. Big one. I'm actually going to take this as a little... File save as... Sorry for the time here, but I do want to make sure I'm taking all considerations. We're up a game. We're up a game. Did they try to kill the Arbor? They don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, go to combat. Trigger your treasure. Block here. But 4 damage, crop this away. We also get a shuffle off the library, which is fantastic. We can go and get Plains. Go to 8. Nothing still. Huh. Endurance. Swords. There it is. Play Depths. We can Green Suns for a Reclaimer here. Oh, I can actually get Safekeeper. Huh. Yeah, and that saves us from Dead Gone. They will also, however, gain 2 off the Magus. I think a play around Dead Gone is the card here. And if they try to deal with the Safekeeper here, we can then Swords the Magus. We then get our Flagstones back on, which gives us kind of a free activation of Safekeeper to keep it, which is nice. I'm not too scared of anything at sorcery speed, so I don't see a reason not to just make the 20/20 here and block the Goblin Shaman. I don't want to lose to like a Fiery Confluence. That's probably the big card. This also kind of turns off the Ancient Tomb to an extent. But they do have more than enough mana to do anything. The old GG nice top decks. Come on now, we had a Sylvan Library and we had decisions to make here. That's... Look, we'll take it. We'll take it. Nice that it worked out. Yeah, I think we set ourselves up in a position to win and not try to not lose, which is very cool when it pays off, but yeah. Yeah, come on now. Come on, there's... Mark, I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's definitely been on this channel some really good top decks, 100%. Alpha, I was going to find you that list from Matthew Vuk, which is Ozymandias, MTG. Unfortunately, Matt has a ton of finishes, so... this might actually be a different one, because I believe Matthew has a few numbers. Yeah, there we go. Ozymandias. Maybe it's just 2/7? I think it's Ozymandias 2/7. Ozymandias. Actually, surely he's on here. There it is. Ozymandias 1/7. All right, now, now for the scroll. So I reckon this was at the earlier part of this year. I don't believe it was Abzan Loam. No. No. Oh, maybe this deck. This could be it. No. Come on now. Modern Zoo. Domain Zoo. White, green. Bant. No, this is a Stoneforge Eldrazi deck. We will find it. Legacy Zoo. Ozymandias. MTG. You think a couple said white, red, green? Interesting. Alright, let's go back. Oh, white, red, green? Yes? Close. These are definitely getting closer to it. White, blue. See, I don't think this is them. I think this is more Controlled X. Yeah. Ah, it's in here. I know it's in here. I don't think... It might have played like Mindbreak Trap on the board and that's why it's picking up the blue. But... This is a modern deck, but it was similar to this. This is obviously during the Lurus ban. Ban control is very cool. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it, and I'll send you a private message, Alpha. If you want to send me a private message on Twitch, I'll send one back to you once I find it. But I know that if you look at his Twitch above and look at media and scroll down, you'll be able to find it after a little while. You are more than welcome. You might even be able to look for Tarmogoyf on MTG Goldfish and then see what decks it's been played in Legacy and pull it up that way. I want to find this so bad now. Nice. Tarmogoyf. This could be it. Punishing Waterfalls is a player that you should definitely check out. I believe they also stream. They play a bunch of kind of lands type things, which is cool. This hand's interesting. It has turn one Green Suns for Dryad Arbor for 3 mana, which is kind of nice. I don't mind it. Summoner's Pact. Ah. Oops. Big yikes. Tough. Nothing really stands out here. Just seems like a classic kind of oops deck. But going down game one's pretty tough. Because I think we still would have in the blind gone Savannah into Green Suns, but if we knew it was going to be oops, we could Savannah hold up Bajuga Bog off crop rotation. Yeah, KV, that's very true. Alright, so we like the Endurances, I like the Collect Oof, I like the Deafening Silence, I like the Blast Effects. Blast effects just do more than anything else. Force of Vigor isn't too bad either. It just is some amount of interaction. Libraries are too slow. Ramanap's too slow. Caracas does nothing. Maze does nothing. Swords doesn't really get there either. I think if we have a chance to get swords, we're kind of just doing it anyway. And this is actually 61. The endings can probably come out. There's a world where I actually want just more green cards for endurance, but... I guess ending does hit any sort of artifact mana they put into play through a deafening silence, which is kind of cool. I could see like one sword being kept. Probably not. Maybe one library over there. Maybe just two libraries. Caracas Maze Tower. Something, yeah. Just try to have like two pieces of interaction. This hand has no interaction. This hand has endurance, but that is it. We don't even have a green card for it, unfortunately. So we will mulligan this. It says endurance and Dried Arbor. I think there's a better hand with Deafening Silence. We would be going to 4, which is land, Deafening Silence, land, Green Suns would be pretty good. The question is this enough? And I don't think this is enough. I guess we keep 3. Just didn't find a blast or a blast or a deafening silence, which is tough. Pedal, pedal, pedal. So they have 3 cards left and 2 spirit guides. They have 2 cards left and 2 spirit guides. They have 1 card left and 2 spirit guides. It has to be Pact to Negation, right? I mean, we can try. Ah, it is Pact. GG's. Tough. We gave it our all, chat. We gave it our all. That's definitely a hand where Deafening Silence is good. And maybe there's a case for a 3-3 split of Deafening Silence and Pyroblast. Just because of how good Deafening Silence is as a turn 1 play against so many decks. We mulled 2-3, which wasn't too bad. We had interaction and we had a land drop, which for a 3 isn't too bad. Yeah, I think the only hand we could have won with is a Deafening Silence hand, and sadly just didn't get there. All right, radio. This is a turn 3 with Safekeeper up as well, which is nice. Mountain. Soul Guide Lantern. I'm going to say this is Mono Red Painter or Blue Red Painter. Soul Guide as a tutor target. Okay. I'm happy to play Windswept here to play around Blood Moon a little bit in the main deck. Hey Pete, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Great Furnace, alright. Hey, Punishing Waterfalls. Very cool to see you in the last game. A little bit tough. We tried to mull to Deafening Silence. And the 3 wasn't too bad. We had Force of Vigor, Endurance, Land. The opening was just, I think, double Mox, or maybe Mox, Reclaimer, 5 land, which isn't too bad in the blind, but obviously does nothing against you. This 6, I think, was lands and endurance, so no pitch, and then it just got kind of worse from there. We didn't see the big one being Deafening Silence. Green Suns. Okay. CLB isn't updated? My bad. I'm on 2. I think I will go back to 3 and 3 Blast instead of 4 Blast 2, but I was kind of hedging a little bit more against Delver. Land drop. The big question is, do I have to hold up crop here for Bog? Or do I kind of get a turn? I actually don't mind Stage Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. That gives me mana next turn just to play Dark Depths and pass. Yeah, I think that's actually correct as well. I think more silences are probably better. Silence is just so good in a range of combo matchups. Tower's definitely my best card against 8-cast. Because I'm not a fan of dealing with their threats. I just want to make my 20/20 and get through. And I also think Tower's just our best card against Death and Taxes. Because taking Caldra off the board as an early way for them to deal with our... put pressure on us is big. But yeah, 8-cast is horrible if we don't... If they have a Psy, then it's game without having access to Tower. Bridge. Okay. Main deck bridge is tough. This is going to be tough because it's going to be a balance between Night of Autumn off Green Sun Zenith for the bridge, but also dealing with the Welder. Tower of the Magistrate. Okay. Let's go Knight and play Safekeeper. Yeah, sadly Depths doesn't have the ability to grind out too well, especially once they start drawing a bunch of cards off things like Thought Monitor and Thoughtcast. Passing. It's tough that Wasteland here on the Great Furnace isn't great because they have the Welders. This is a situation where Blast Zone over Maze of Ith would be really strong. Would take out our Safekeeper, but I think dealing with both Welders and Soul Guide would be pretty sweet. Okay. I can get in with both of my creatures, because I actually wouldn't mind them trading a Welder here. Okay. Are they just trying to get down on cards? Interesting. I'll still play the Depths. Because there is an out where we draw into Green Sun Zenith for Night of Autumn and can bog them before they can get it back, but it's definitely tough with Double Welder. Khan's a great pickup. I wonder if they just get liquid metal here. Lattice. Interesting. This is actually a tough one because even if we make the 2020 here, we untap with 1, 2, 3 mana, 4 mana from the Mox, 5 mana from the Taiga, which allows us to Green Suns for 3, which is 4 mana for Night of Autumn. We hit the bridge, we then go to attacks, they then try to welder it back, we then crop for Bog in response, they then try to welder it back again, and then we can't beat the bridge. I guess we have Prismatic Ending as an out. Ah, the Mox also is turned off, that's very correct, yeah. So I guess it's really Moxen or bust. But even then, if we try to Prismatic Ending the Ensnaring Bridge, they can crack the Soul Guide, put it in the bin, and then switch the Soul Guide with the bridge in response to us targeting it. Which is even harder. Opponents also tapped in a way where they can't get caught by Wasteland hitting their lands and then us changing phases before they want to react. Which is pretty smart. So I don't know if we actually have an out here. I think I'd rather also have my mana than make the 2020 because of what it has said. We don't have a great out. Even if we draw a removal spell here. It's really up to our opponent to make a mistake. They do have one card in hand though, being the Lattice, so we do get to attack here. They're gonna block like this. Okay. How do I feel about protecting this? I think I feel pretty good about that because I probably want to Wasteland their Ancient Tomb to take them off mana for the Lattice, so it's kept in hand. Pro red. Card goes down to 2, which is really nice. Hit the tomb. Play a Taiga. And pass. Okay. I think here I'm happy to Wasteland the Saga with the trigger on the stack so they can't tap it for mana. They're kind of in a tough spot. Because next time we get to attack the Khan again, they kind of have to tick the Khan up here. I guess they can make the bridge a 3/3. But then we do have swords as an out. We also have, I believe, bridge. No, not bridge, but... yeah, I guess we can hold the knight up to get Bog. And then I think with my spare mana, if I do have spare mana, is just turning these stages into Taegers so I can sack them to the knight. Cool game so far. The double welder start was pretty rough, but... alright, so you're gonna make this a creature. One card in hand being Lattice. Now we have to just high roll into removal here. Here's a question for chat. If we draw Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending and target the Ensnaring Bridge, they then sack this Soul Guide Lantern to most likely draw a card, put it in the graveyard, and then welder the Lantern and the Bridge. If we then bog the graveyard so that the Lantern is no longer a target, does the Bridge still get taken out and put into the graveyard? Does it try to do as much as it can, or does it stick and therefore still get hit by removal? That's the big question. If both targets are still legal as the ability resolves, that player... no, okay, so it doesn't. Okay. Nice. So we do have a little out here. Not what I want. The question is, do I still attack the Khan? Do I still put it down to 2? I think I do. It gives me another turn to try to draw into an out for the Ensnaring Bridge. Interesting, they block like this. So I could crop this away if I really wanted to. But I don't think I do. I think I'd rather just keep the crop as an unknown card for now. Oh, actually, before blocks, I should probably copy the Dryad Arbor. Yeah, I think I should have copied the Dryad Arbor with Thespian Stage and tried to go wide with Dryad Arbors. I only just saw that line as well. But that's all good. We learn. But this Khan tick down stops them from doing something like... LED, and then just play the lattice. Can they? No, maybe they can't. I don't think you can like get LED and then with the trigger on the stack, grab it. Rough. They drew the tomb. Tough. I could have used my mana there, but I don't think there's anything here that really does anything. It really would have taken a removal spell of some kind. I just want to see a little bit more from their deck. We don't win from here. This match is gone, but there's definitely more information to be had. I assume we see a Khan tick down here for Painter, play the Painter, and then Grindstone us in upkeep. I am done after this league. Oh, they just drew the Painter. Okay. Painter. I like the Forces. I like the Oof. I like the Endurances because of Painter. I can see myself taking out the A Library, Caracas. I don't mind Safekeeper, especially because of Pyroblast. I could see a Trim on Mox. I don't need to be hyper aggressive. I also like trading a Knight for an Endurance. One Library seems okay. Library is actually interesting because I can be pretty aggressive against Painter with Library. The Maze of Ith definitely helps against the constructs as well. Yeah, I don't mind going down on one Moxen. I don't like relying on the Painter to turn on the blasts. It can be a little bit awkward, especially if they name a different color in game 2. But it can definitely be a route to victory. I'm just going to trim a crop. I think that's fine. Obviously the Mox aren't the greatest in a deck when you're playing Collector Oof, but usually it's a case that if you have Mox on board and you're going for Oof, you're doing a lot more to harm your opponent than your one. You're doing, yeah, a lot more harm for your opponent's plan than damaging your own. But hey, Aggro and White Raven, thanks for the follows. A huge thank you. And welcome to all those who came in from Punishing Waterfall stream. I'm Dukes on Twitch. I usually stream pretty fair decks in Legacy. Mostly Maverick and Depths, but also some other strategies like Death and Taxes. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find my Discord here. And of course, the greensunzenith.com. Alright, on the play, which is nice. And a pretty medium hand. Pretty happy to mull this, just to have some piece of hate in the hand. Prismatic Ending is perfect. I'll keep this. I'll bottom the Taiga. They kept a double leyline hand, okay. I think in that case I'm pretty happy just to try to go for the combo, so I just want a Green Suns here for Dryad Arbor. And then if they go like non-basic into 1-drop, we have Wasteland and Prismatic Ending to deal with those, which is pretty cool. But they... Interesting to see them really care about... I guess Leyline turns off Endurance as well as an out, which is pretty interesting. Nice. In this case... Do I have time... So this is an interesting one, because this is where I have to play in a way that I think I know what my opponent's going to do. Because Prismatic Ending currently is my only out to Ensnaring Bridge, which they could cast next turn of a Soul Land. I'm definitely playing the stage. I guess I don't have to play the stage, but I probably will play the stage here. But the question is that if we are playing stage and then next turn holding up the combo with 3 mana, 1 for crop, 2 for copy and the stage, then I don't have time to actually cast a Prismatic Ending next turn if I want to combo off. So if I am afraid of the actual combo, then I should use this turn to Prismatic Ending the Grindstone, but that opens me up to Ensnaring Bridge. And this is the lifelong argument of, do I play what's on board, or do I try to like have an out to what I think my opponent might have for the 2020. They kept a double Leyline hand, so I don't think they kept a hand with double Leyline and Ensnaring Bridge. So I think I'd rather take the combo off the board. Play the stage, and then just see if they have it or not. We sadly can't crop away the flagstones and get value because the ley lines turn off its ability for when it goes to the graveyard. So we don't get the extra land or flag. Same with like a rest in peace effect. Engineer. Search your library for an artifact card, put it into your graveyard. Okay. I'm going to assume this is Ensnaring Bridge going to the board, to the graveyard. Oh, Grindstone. Needle. Well, Needle's really strong here. Okay. At least we're pretty close to just having 4 mana for Force of Vigor as well, which is pretty nice. Another Wasteland. I actually don't mind halting their mana here. Do I ever play Vintage Cube? I've played it once or twice. I'm not the biggest fan of Cube. I really like putting the decks together. I don't enjoy playing the decks. But I can see the appeal for players who enjoy that sort of thing. I guess I get the Windswept because it turns on the ability to crop for plains and then fetch for forest, which is nice. I won't do another league after this. No, I have some plans this afternoon. But I might be back tomorrow. Double Mountain. Okay. Painter. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. They could have a Blast though, and Blast on Green Suns would be brutal. One, two, three. Yeah, the Goblin makes it so good that Knight of Autumn doesn't do a whole lot here. Potentially Knight of the Reliquary does nothing either. I do play Oof. I think I might Green Suns for 3 and then see what happens. Like, see if this Green Suns resolves. Didn't hit 3k, currently at 2973. Interesting, so they're going to try to remove this, or get this into play now. Oh, they've lost both Peaches now? Wow. Wow. Well, now I'm pretty happy to crop. I'm just going to crop away the Wasteland. I'm just going to crop away the Savannah. No, I think it's just the Flagstones. We don't get the Valley, but that's more than fine. Because you sack an artifact first. That's huge. So now we get to bog them and hit both pieces. And now I get to go and get... Oof, now this is close. It might just be Knight of Autumn because it turns on everything else for Dark Depths. I think Knight of Autumn is where I want to be. I think, again, this just puts me in a position where I can try to win. They can just get it back, but they do have to switch something around. Yeah, maybe Collector Oof is just better. I do get a turn because if I get to untap with the stage, I can then respond to the needle by copying something with the stage. So then they have to name what I copy the stage with to stop the stage in play, or they have to name stage to copy other stages. I believe they have ley lines because of my creatures in Elvish Reclaimer and Knight to make them vanilla in attack and defense, but also because it turns off my ability to endurance myself to get out of the grindstone. Okay. Bridge is pretty strong. Huh. Not what I want. It's gonna hit this now and just 6, just to save time for these next few turns. But yeah, the both goblins in this matchup have been really, really tough. Yikes. Painter. Okay. Hmm. 100%, yeah, 100% you should copy a different land in response to a needle if you have the stage open. Because then it might stop the other stages, but it won't stop the one you have in play unless they name what you've copied, like Forest, which then turns on the other stages as live, which is cool. Just try to not copy something that already has an activated ability, like a Wooded Foothills or a land. That can sometimes come back to bite you. Shadow Spear is pretty good for the fair game. Get back the bridge. Okay. That's actually pretty good. Because I get to respond to them using the engineer. I'm also keeping these in hand because they're just better as unknown information. I don't need the mana. The nicer thing about Endurance against Goblin Engineer than the other Goblin is that they have to sack first, which is pretty huge. Soul Guard is fine. I believe it does have to, yeah, it does have to exile something, so it probably just hits the tomb here. Potentially the Goblin Engineer. Yeah, because they might think we're on like Scavenging Ooze. Nice. So now they sack that, and we get to Endurance in response. And put both Painter and I mean, all of these go to the bottom, which is quite cool. They still have one card in hand. Wasteland off the top wouldn't be too bad, but I really want to find like a Force of Vigor. Would love a Force of Vigor. That's not a Force of Vigor. Khan's pretty good. I think this league has definitely shown me that I kind of want to have an extra Force of Vigor and an extra Deafening Silence. Wow, they use the Khan. Grindstone, play Grindstone. Okay. Yep. I guess they just get Painter, cast it, and then have 3 mana for the Grindstone. Tough. Do you ever say card names to yourself on MTGO as if you're playing in paper? I think so. I'm not too sure now. It's a good question. Interesting, they're not going for it. What could they have? They give us another turn to draw into something, which is fantastic. Okay. I guess we go for Collector Oof now. Because Night of Autumn is gone? Yeah. Dukes doesn't say anything interesting in paper, it's really off-putting. Classic. I mean, Safekeeper with Oof is really nice. Potentially they can Khan for another Needle, name Safekeeper, and then find a way to deal with the Collector Oof. Hey Jay, welcoming. I do say interesting a lot. I say interesting a lot, very cool, nice. They're probably the big three. Twin Shot Sniper. It's pretty good. Oh, I should have... Sorry, I can still give it protection. That was just a misclick. That was a huge misclick. Yeah. Trigger happy. Yeah, because Safe here be giving Shroud can obviously stop the twin shot. It's tough because they can keep getting it back, but it does play well. They'll just start sniping away my lands in a way. Saga's a nice draw. But yeah, maybe keeping in the extra library is just where I should be. Just trying to dig for cards. But yeah, I think this is sadly just game. Just didn't really get what I needed. I don't think it's a case of mulliganing aggressively to force a vigor, but just having a bit more gas would have been nice. Tough. I should have actually wastelanded this as well with the knight. Just little things here that I'm not really thinking about because I think this is going to be pretty easy for them. Yeah. Yeah, that oof. That oof. I do get to untap and draw first to see what I draw into. Alright. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to attack with the oof, but the twin shot would have still just taken me off lands each time. Pretty tough league. I feel like the deck had a lot of gas against the decks that we played against, but just didn't really hit them. But I think that's just a case of like, I'm not playing a blue deck, so I'm not going to find the consistency of, you know, a cantrip deck. And it's nice to like know that I have the cards in the deck that I want to hit. Just a case of finding them. And it's tough to keep a good hand without any sideboard cards like that matchup. But yeah, overall, not the worst. But it can happen. And that's definitely a, you know, something you just have to accept playing a green-white red deck. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna go outside and enjoy my Saturday. Hope you guys have a nice weekend. I'm gonna quickly see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. A big thank you to Punishing Waterfalls for the follow. It does look like Ramar is playing some Legacy, which is really nice because with Ramar it's always going to be high quality Legacy, which is nice. enjoy the grass touching. Thank you very much. I will. Ravenous Panda, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I'll be back pretty soon. Probably back with show and tell again soon, just to have a second try and make some changes after the first league. But until then, enjoy, and I'll catch you then. Cheers.